Like you can choose to do this. And so it's just all about taking inventory of what you're doing, why you're doing it, whose story you're actually living, and then how you want to evolve it into your story that will incredibly impact your children. Because again, they're always watching and we always get to change and evolve.
Welcome to the Life Coaching for Mompreneurs podcast, where you will learn simple solutions to win at work without losing at home. Hi, my name is Martine Williams, and I am your host and CEO, your Chief Encouragement Officer. And this podcast is your one-stop shop to creating a burnout-proof life and business by elevating your clarity, confidence, and courage. Friends, it's time to say goodbye to being the yes girl, to procrastinating on your goals and living in overwhelm. And it's time to say hello to creating healthy boundaries, healthy mindsets, and healthy habits so that you can achieve work-life harmony. Your next breakthrough starts here. This is the Life Coaching for Mompreneurs podcast. Let's do this. Hey, mompreneurs, have you ever said, I'm all in? I'm all in on this goal, or I'm all in on this business. Do you know, or have you defined what that actually looks like for you in this season? Because there's different definitions of that. And my guest today, Carrie Fabris, is the founder of Career Frame, which is a Dallas-based leadership development and executive coaching firm dedicated to transforming leaders, teams, and organizational culture. And she elevates senior leaders, strengthens leadership teams, and cultivates accountability and thriving workplace cultures. She's also the author of All In, which is the working mom's unapologetic quest for a juicy life. And in that book, she shares her personal journey of navigating corporate ambition, entrepreneurship, and motherhood without compromise. Y'all know that's what we talk about here on the podcast. So through her signature Frame It method, she delivers high energy, actionable coaching and workshops that help leaders bridge the gap between achievement and legacy, while maintaining balance, purpose, and impact in their professional and personal lives. She shoots it straight, which I absolutely love. She's a lot of fun. It was a great person to interview, and I can't wait for you to meet her. So let's just dive right in. Welcome back, friends. We have another Turquoise Talk guest today, Carrie Fabris. So Carrie, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show and have this conversation.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
So tell me a little bit about you, your family, and how you got into the work that you're doing today.
Yeah. So I was born in October of 1974. And I'm kidding. I mean, I was, but I don't think we should start way back there.
Way back.
So I'm an executive coach and leadership development person, and I have a firm that does that. We've been doing that for about 10 years, and I kind of fell into this life, career-wise anyway. Family, I have an amazing husband. I have two incredible kids. I now have two teenagers in the house, so things are getting interesting. Older son, younger daughter. And just very blessed to have an incredible family. And we call ourselves the Fab Four, which I believe the Beatles also called themselves a Fab Four. So, we're just like the Beatles, only different. Yeah. And so just got into what I'm doing now because I really had a passion about leadership and really felt like there were a lot of leaders that were being tapped to go into a role to lead people. And they didn't really know what they were doing because they weren't coached on how to lead people. Yeah. They were taught in their technical skills, not in human skills. And so built this business 10 years ago and have just been having a great time ever since.
Yeah. So tell me, who do you primarily work with in leadership? Are you working with companies, individuals, teams, a little bit of everything?
A little bit of everything. I would say predominantly companies, but we have people that will find us and they want a career coach for themselves. I always just want to applaud people that decide on their own that they want to invest in themselves. Yeah. They're not investing in themselves because their boss told them to.
Right.
And so we do work with a handful of those. We have a team, there's 4 of us. And so we all make sure that, I make sure that we're matching the right coach with the right person. Most of what we work with are companies. And so usually that SVP, that C-suite will bring us in to work with their leadership team. Mm-hmm. And we go all the way down to supervisor level. So if you lead people, our team will work with you and we will support you on what's the challenge you're having? What's the gap? What's the leadership that we need to elevate? Is it communication? Is it being accountability? Is it having hard conversations? Is it truly leadership 101? Or have we been doing this for a while, but we've just simply forgotten how
Right.
to effectively lead people? And so and we do a lot of stuff with teams as well. So we are all certified coaches. Excuse me. We do Clifton Strengths workshops, emotional intelligence workshops, situational leadership workshops. One of my favorite that we do is Five Dysfunctions of a Team, based on Patrick Lencioni's really awesome work
Yeah.
and in his fantastic book, Five Dysfunctions of a Team. So I really love doing that one. That one gets very deep and very powerful.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have major shifts with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, and we work with women and men, all shapes and sizes. And so yeah, it's just if you need support with leadership, we love to talk with you and really diagnose and find out what is the need before we come in and prescribe. We're not a one size fits all for everybody. It's very customized to what the individual or team needs.
Yeah. I love that because every team is different and they all have different challenges and
They are. Yeah.
cultures and all of those things. So I'd love to know, like, what do you find is some of the biggest leadership, like, myths or mistakes that you see people making in leadership right now?
Yeah, I would say kind of what I mentioned a minute ago. There's oftentimes they're tapped for, you do your job really well. So I think you would be an amazing leader
Mm.
of this team. And again, they're really strong at the technical skills. They don't really know what it's like to lead people. Sometimes people think that leadership is just getting the title and the paycheck. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh no, no, no. And actually, one of my favorite questions to ask people is, if I was to take your title and your paycheck off the table, tell me why you enjoy leading people. I
Yeah.
always love to get the different answers that I get with that. So I think that a lot of people think that leadership is, again, more of an authority. It's your name in a box on an org chart. It's all of these things. And it's more about influencing people in all different directions and really helping people elevate. I remind leaders all the time, I'm like, are you aware of what your number one job is as a leader? Do you know what it is? And I always like to see their answers and hear their answers. And I'm like, your number one role as a leader is leading your people first. A
Yeah.
lot of people forget that and they lead their to-do list
Yeah.
and they manage their people. And management and leadership is different.
Right. Yeah. I love that. There's so much to be said for that. Even for, I know we talked about before recording that whether you're in a corporate office or if you're a mom, an entrepreneur, I mean, you are
Yep.
leading, you are a leader. And I do
Yeah.
think mom entrepreneurs specifically, like, because they don't have the specific title. So I love that you talked about leadership is not a title. They
Hmm.
don't realize, no, you're self-leading and how to
Hmm.
be a really strong self-leader of your business and of your family and all of
Yeah.
those things. So can you speak to that a little bit? It's a little bit different, but it's not.
Yes, we must take care of ourselves first, and especially working moms. We don't have a full plate. We often have a full platter of things, right? One of
That's
my
so
dear friend,
true.
I wish I could take credit for that. One of my dear friends said that to me one day. She's like, I mean, you don't have a full plate. You have a full platter. Like, how do you do it all? And I'm like, I was a waitress. I could
Right.
balance
Yeah,
it
I
when
know,
I was in high
right?
school.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, we have to take care of ourselves and really be unapologetic about it. I actually spoke at a company last week to this women's affinity group, and we talked about that. Like, how do you juggle it all? And I
Mhm.
think that a lot of times women forget to ask for help,
Yeah.
whether you have a partner or not. If you don't have a partner, do you have friends? Do you have family? Like ask for help, hire help if you're able to.
Yeah.
Um, that is such a game changer of just how we balance it all. Because you do have to take care of yourself. If you're not, then you're not really putting 100% of yourself forward to the people that you love and care about, your kids.
Yeah.
And I think eventually they will feel that. I think it's also important that we have boundaries as
Mhm.
working moms. I mean, I've taught my children, so they're 13 and almost 15 now.
Yeah.
I taught my children from when they were very young. I'm like, mommy needs a cat nap
Right.
or I'm going to be real grumpy. So I need 15 minutes and please do not come to my room unless someone's bleeding really badly. And just kind of taught them to honor that. But I told them why. It's not
Yeah.
like I'm not disappearing. I'm going to go take a power nap so I can come back and be better and, stronger for you all when you need me to start making dinner, or you need me to take you to, dance class or whatever.
Yeah.
So we really have to take care of ourselves and truly put that mask on first before
Yeah.
assisting others.
It's so true. And we say that phrase and women hear it, but I think to live it out loud and to really want
Uh-huh.
that, I mean, that's where it gets hard, right? Because you have the kids that want something. There's always somebody to tell my clients, like, you have to, be mindful of as a giver, of know your limits, because the takers don't have any, right? The takers could be,
Yeah.
people at work, it could be your family members, it could be everyone's trying to get a piece of you, right? And so for you to be able to know what your own limits are, what your own capacity is, and that changes in seasons. My kids are 19 and 21 now, right? So it's very different than when they were babies and littles, and I was working my business in the nooks and crannies of time. Now it's like
Yep.
they're like, "Hey, mom, bye, mom." Like, they don't really want much to do with me, so I have a little bit more capacity and bandwidth to do other things that I want to do. But I think that's so important to speak on.
What I think is also really important is that we moms, I want for all of us to understand we're showing them what
Mhm.
it looks like to be a mom,
Yeah. Yeah.
good or bad.
Right. Yeah.
They're always watching, their antennas, they're absorbing. Yes, a lot of them are on devices these days and they are distracted by that. However, they are still watching us. They are watching what we're doing, when we're doing it, why we're doing it, what we're saying it, how we're saying it, the words we're using, all of these things. And again, for me, I mean, I'm a in the, of course, healthiest way, obsessed with my children. They are freaking fantastic.
Mhm.
And I have just, I mean, I'm like, yeah, this is me crying. I'm upset. This is ugly mom cry right now. Like, I'm stressed out. I'm upset. This is nothing for you to worry about.
Right.
This
Yeah.
is just sometimes being a mom.
Mhm.
It's the best job and it's the hardest job.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be okay. I just need a minute. And like my daughter has seen that. And so it's like, so I'm hoping that's teaching her, don't be scared to cry. Don't be
Right.
scared to be angry. Don't be scared to ask for help. Don't be scared to just be like, I'm out. I mean, there's so many reasons of why unapologetic is in the subtitle of my book, All In. Because, sometimes it's just like, I'm doing this for me.
Right.
Ultimately, it's for you, but I
Right.
had to do it for me. And the book starts with me boarding a flight to London and listening to the flight attendant message, which of course the put your mask on first. And I'm like, how many times, like you just said, how many times have I heard this, but I
Mhm.
never really listened to it until that moment. And I
Yeah.
was like, huh,
Yeah. Yeah.
wow, fascinating. You know?
I think that's why it's so important to keep talking about it,
Mhm.
because you just have like the right moment, the right time, and the right season. It finally, like, the light bulb goes off and you realize, oh, okay, that this is where this matters to me now. Sometimes
Yeah,
you hear things over and over and over again, it just kind of becomes white noise. But for us women to be vulnerable and to be able to share these things, we never know when it's going to hit another woman at the right time to give her permission to do those things,
that's right.
which
And
is
and
so
here's
important.
something here, and here's something too. I can imagine that women listening to this episode are probably like, yeah, that sounds good, but that's not how I was raised.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's when I just want to smile. I want to give them a quick little hug. And then I want to go into tough love, Coach Carrie. And I want to say, that's your parent or whoever raised you's story.
Right. Yeah.
That is not your story.
Yeah.
What's super cool is as an adult, every morning we wake up and we get to choose
Mhm.
how we want to be.
Yep.
And we get to change. We get
Yep.
to evolve.
Yeah.
And you can do that by honoring the person who raised you
Mhm.
if you want. And if you're like, I couldn't stand that person, then don't honor them, right? But I still think that we can honor the things we learn even through hard
Yeah.
times or hard lessons. If sometimes it's like, thank you so much for teaching me how not to be,
Yeah, that's right.
right?
Yeah.
And so I just want to encourage people that please stop and recognize this the self-talk and the story you're telling yourself. Well, I wasn't raised that way. I don't know how to do it. Yes, you do. Yes,
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah.
It's more about being intentional to evolve and decide to be that way. I
Yeah.
was on another podcast and she's really, she does a ton on Instagram influencer, and she's fabulous. And she was saying that, she's worried that her kids always think she's just on Instagram. And I said, well, have you ever like had your kids right next to you, showing them what you're posting, showing them what you're doing? And she was like, no. I'm like, why don't you do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you can choose to do this. And
Yeah.
so it's just all about taking inventory of what you're doing, why you're doing it, whose story you're actually living, and
Mhm.
then how you want to evolve it into your story that will incredibly impact your children. Because again, they're always watching, and we always get to change and evolve.
That's right. That's right. And they're probably gonna need therapy, and that's okay. We all need therapy.
We all do. We're all in there. No, no, I always say no generation before or after a generation understands the generation.
Right.
So that's why every generation is in therapy. It's
That's
like,
right.
and I think everyone should have a therapist. It's like,
Yeah.
I love my therapist.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
what, why not? Like, go talk about what's on your mind
That's
in a
right.
safe space.
That's right. That's right. When you were talking, I was thinking back to, my mom works 9 to 5, and I'll
Hmm.
never forget, her coming home from her 9 to 5 and just slipping on her slippers and going in the kitchen. And, she had dinner on the table at 6 o'clock every evening. And we as a family sat around the table and like,
Amazing.
and there was so much guilt though that I carried as becoming a mom and trying to accept those same expectations for myself. And like
Hmm.
that was the model, right? That was the mom
Sure.
I needed to be. And I'll never forget someone saying, like, have you actually sat your kids down to ask them, is it important to them that like you do all the cooking, or is it
Right.
important they have food? And it was just so freeing to have that
Yeah.
conversation with them because I love my mom and I love that she did those things. It's just, I don't love cooking, number one. And number two, like,
Yeah.
it's a different story, like you said, and it's a different way of being. It doesn't mean she's wrong and I'm right. It's just, what kind of life do I want to create? What kind of motherhood do I want to identify
Totally.
with? We cleaned every Saturday. The first thing I did when I started making money was hire a house cleaner. Like I didn't want to spend my Saturdays
Yeah.
cleaning and
Smart.
having my kids clean with me. So
Yeah.
it's not that one's right or wrong. Like you said, you can totally honor your family and your parents and how they raised you, and also decide what do you want and what does your family need, because it's probably different. Hey friend, let's talk. It's time to book your clarity call. We are going to spend 1 full hour focused on you. A clarity call isn't about pressure. It's about possibilities. It's about you. You having a space to talk through what's on your heart and mind, you walking away with a clear vision and practical next steps, and you feeling confident in what's next and how to get there. You don't need to have it all figured out. That's my job. All you need to do is show up and we'll figure it out together. This is the best hour you can invest in yourself right now. Not in 6 months from now, not next month, right now. And don't just take my word for it. Here's what one of my coaching clients had to say after working together.
Working with Martine has been nothing short of transformational. When I first started coaching with her, I felt really stuck and burnout and frustrated. And through her guidance, I've gained clarity and a deep sense of self-awareness that has touched so many areas of my life. Martine creates a space that is both safe and empowering, and she listens with intention, challenges with compassion, and helps you see possibilities where you previously only saw roadblocks. So if you're ready to grow, take bold steps, and connect more deeply with who you are and where you're going, I can't recommend Martine enough. She's a truly gifted and talented coach.
That transformation, it starts with one conversation. It's time to stop spinning your wheels and start making real progress. So head right now to martinewilliams.com or in the show notes and grab your private clarity call spot on my calendar before they're gone. And since I personally monitor my inbox, if you don't see a time slot that fits your calendar, just send me an email at martinewilliams.com with free times that do work, and I will make it work for you. All right, friend, let's get back to the show.
Yeah, because who's to say your mom worked all day and then came home and had dinner on the table? Maybe that was her love language. Maybe
Yeah,
that's what she wanted to do for you all because it made her feel good. She
right.
was providing, and at work, and she was providing for on
Mhm.
the table. So my mom passed away when I was 9. She also worked full time. She was a private investigator, which I'm
Yep.
like Nancy
Right.
Bourne, PI, which was awesome. And same thing. She would work all day and then she would have dinner on the table while fighting breast cancer,
Mm,
right? But I
yeah.
will tell you, I did not have guilt because I just didn't. I guess for me, I didn't think like that.
Yeah.
You, not saying there's nothing wrong with you
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
thought that way,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
But it was more of just, I'm 51 now, so I've lived long, a long time without her for over 4 decades. And I still remember, I mean, I remember when she would make this salad that she made, this casserole, like I would remember the things that she made and how she showed up. That's what I remember. And
Yeah.
so I think it's also when we think about our moms, what do we remember about them? Or again, whoever raised us,
Right.
what do we remember about them? And what were the things that we really loved? And quite frankly, as adult women,
Mm.
now having our own children, what do we think of it now? Because
Right.
when we were a kid, we had one lens.
Yep.
Now that we're, adults and have our own children, like, do we agree with that mom or who
Right.
raised us, or are we ever going, what are you doing? Why do you do that?
I
Like,
know.
what, have somebody else cook something, or
Yeah.
like ask me to help,
Yeah.
So it's just
Yeah.
kind of interesting when we think back to the stories that we create in our head based on what we observed. And then again, understanding our children are doing the same thing. So I
Yeah.
think that we can, in this day and age, because it's also very different than it was back then,
Right.
we can encourage our children to communicate with us about it and talk with us about it and
Hmm.
share with them and allow them to ask questions and just have fun learning why I do what I do as a working mom.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I'll tell my daughter, she will ask me my opinion on something, and I'm like, oh, I have an opinion. I'll always have an opinion,
Hmm.
but it's my opinion.
Right.
What do you think?
Right.
What do you want to do? How do you feel? Which sweater do you want to wear? Like whatever the question is. And then also when I'm having a hard time about something, I will say, this is my thing. It's
Hmm.
not your thing. It's not
Yeah.
your thing to carry. It's my
Yeah.
thing, and I'm okay.
Yeah.
So, the more we talk to them, the better.
Yeah. Well, the more I think it gives them permission to have their own voice,
Yes.
right? And to have
Yeah.
their own emotions and
Mm-hmm.
to be able to see, like I was telling my husband the other day, I'm like, I want my kids to see that how to struggle well. If they don't ever see
Yes. Oh, I
struggle,
love that.
because I grew up where there wasn't a lot of emotion in my home. And so I didn't see how to struggle well. It was just kind of like everybody
Yeah.
put on a perfect face and everything is fine when really there were things that weren't fine. And again, I just think each generation we get closer and closer to being okay with emotion. I think that's all new. My family was not raised with a lot of emotions. That's just the
Yeah.
state of the generation at that time, I think. But when I slowed down and really started thinking about what kind of mom did I want to be? Did I want to be like my mom and cook dinner and having the conversation with my kids, what I realized was it was just the tradition of getting around the table together. Like that was really important to me,
Mm-hmm.
that we had that time at 6 o'clock or whatever time, that we weren't just eating on the run all the time. And so when you
So,
sit down,
so now you're like, we're going to be door dashing tonight
right,
and
right,
eating all
right. So
together as a
some
family.
nights we might be, we might be ordering out.
Yes.
Some nights you can help cook. Like it really
Yeah.
picked me up from so much pressure that I was putting on myself to do that. So I think the more you slow down and ask yourself, just like you were asking your daughter, like, what do you want and what sweater do you
Hmm.
want to wear? Like the simplest questions, and
Yeah.
they kind of think back to what kind of life are you creating for your family? That's
Yeah.
important. And same thing for the business. So tell me a little
Yeah.
book All In and some of the lessons that you share in there about like not sacrificing your ambition,
Yeah.
motherhood, because that's what we talk about on here. Like you can have
Hmm.
both. You can be a highly successful entrepreneur or businesswoman or professional and be a very loving and successful at home too. And I think
Yeah.
sometimes a lot of them think they have to sacrifice one for the other.
I think a lot of them think they have
Yeah.
to sacrifice one for the
Yeah.
other, for sure. And I'm often asked, how do I define all in?
Mm,
It's the
yeah.
name of the book.
Yeah.
And I always respond the same way. And I'm like, however you define it,
Mm,
because all in is going to look different for all of us.
yeah.
Success is going to be defined differently for all of us.
Yeah.
The definition of all in, if you were to Google it, is something like going after, like trying with determination to achieve a goal,
Mhm.
basically. And first of all, I didn't realize I had this book in me.
Yeah.
I did not set out to be an author. I actually have two books. I have a children's book that I wrote for my son, called Fans Are Fantastic, because he's a neurodivergent kiddo who loves fans. Couldn't find the book, so I created one. And then All In, A Working Mom's Unapologetic Quest for a Juicy Life. Juicy being elevated, more lively, and more fulfilled. And that book was kind of pulled out of me from someone that I met in a Zoom room at a Tony Robbins conference.
Yeah.
And it takes the reader through a 6-year snapshot in time. So it is like a memoir of things that I went through that I think are pretty relevant to a lot of working moms. The book starts, it basically takes you from totally frustrated straight into fear all the way to fulfillment.
Yeah.
And it starts with me needing to figure out what I needed to do for something for my son.
Yeah.
And so the mom,
Yeah.
right, it goes first. Like, I got to figure this out for my kid.
Yeah.
And I really, really want this career frame thing to work. So Career Frame is the name of the coaching firm. And so I went to London to just step away from my family and to just have the space to not have to take care of anybody and to think about stuff. There was some pretty wild universe synchronistic things that happened on that trip that was like, I can't explain this.
Right. Yeah.
And when I came back, I had made the decision and then realized that I had a lot of work to do on myself. I actually failed the first time I did my business. I wouldn't be here today with the business thriving if I wouldn't have failed. So I always want to encourage people too that failure is growth. That is it.
Yeah.
And so anyone out there listening, like, oh, I have such a fear of failure. Please don't have a fear of failure, because it's another way of saying I have a fear of growing.
Right.
And I do think that a lot of us do want to grow. Sometimes we don't know how or in what direction, but I think most of us want to evolve. So that's what failure is. And so anyway, it just walks the user through these, the story that I went through, the ups and downs, the sloppy sideways, the extreme frustration, the extreme anxiety, the depression, the financial debt, just going all in on me with getting a coach, going to Tony Robbins, everything, which I'm the last person on the planet who thought I would do Tony Robbins anything. And it did totally change my life, I will say.
Yeah.
And just stepping back into where I knew my soul needed to be while being mom.
Yeah.
And it was, for all of us that feel like we have to choose, we don't. It is about finding balance. And again, whatever that balance looks like to you, and it's not going to be 50-50 every day.
No. Yeah.
No, some days it's going to be, 70-30 work. Some days it's going to be 70-30 kid or family, and that's okay. So there's a lot of allowing and accepting when we are full-time working moms.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes women struggle with those two things.
Yeah.
Allow yourself to do something, give yourself permission. And if you struggle with giving yourself permission, phone a friend who is a straight talker that will give you permission.
Right.
I have one of those where
We
I'm
don't
just
need
like,
that.
yeah, like, they're like, you don't have to do this. I'm like, really? I don't? They're like, no. And I'm like, you know what? I think I just needed to hear you say that.
Just need a permission slip. I just need a permission slip, please.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I'll ask my husband, but most of the time it's another mom. It's another who really understands the situation that I'm in. And so, so the book and at the end of every chapter, it gives you some tips of how you can have a juicy life of, do these things, try this thing, have this conversation, go on a trip by yourself. Like my husband, I remember I was actually walking around Windsor Castle and he calls me and he's like, hey, mama. I'm like, hi. And my kids were 3 and 5. And I was the mom that, like, if I went on a business trip, I came back and I'm like, how did everything go? Did you do their backpacks? Did you make their lunches? Did you call that? Like, it was just like my poor husband was full on assaulted with, didn't matter that they were alive and fed when I was gone. Did you do all the logistical things that, part of their routine? So that was a whole thing. But he calls me when I'm walking around Windsor and he's like, hey, I'm like, hi. He's like, how's it going? We really haven't heard from you. I'm like, I know. Isn't that amazing? Like, I'm just letting you all do you. Everybody alive? Everybody good? And he was just like so surprised, but I so needed that. And I'm glad I gave myself the permission to go and just think and feel and journal. And I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. Go to Harry Potter in London and have the best day of my life, my heaven on earth. and just those kind of things. And so anyway, it's an easy read. And a lot of people that read it, they say, I feel like I just went to dinner with you and you just were telling me your story. And so it's a very easy read and it's very real. It's very real. It's very raw. It's authentic. It's vulnerable. And, I hope that your users want to read it. I mean, your listeners want to read it, and that they find something that's relatable, and that it encourages them to act and to do something different for themselves. To just elevate their life.
Yeah. Stories are so powerful. I think that's the beautiful thing about a podcast too, is, the stories and the women that I get to meet, I would not have if I didn't have a podcast. And I think we really do relate to the stories. So it sounds like you have a lot of those in your book. So they're definitely going to want to go and check that out. And we'll put a link to the book in the show notes for everyone. And I think there's 2 free chapters you can get also in the show notes. So
it's also, it's you can get the book, it's on Kindle and it's on Audible.
Okay.
So it's all formats on Amazon.
Okay. Good. So tell me, I always like to ask guests about burnout, because that's one of the things we talk about a lot here on the podcast. So I'd love to just ask you if you have experienced burnout before. How did it kind of show up for you? Like a guest I had before you, she was like, I just wanted to quit my whole life. That was kind of her response to burnout. And then how do you work your way out of your burnout? Or how do you prevent it? Like, what are some of those things that you do? Quick pause. If you've been listening and you're ready to stop performing your life and start leading it, if you know you're ready to feel better now, not later, and you're ready for support that actually creates sustainable transformation, I have private one-on-one coaching spots open. And inside this coaching, in Illuminate You Coaching, we don't guess. We use your unique personality blueprint built from the science-backed personality and performance tool called the ProScan, the one you've heard me talk about here in the podcast. This is used so that every decision, every boundary, every shift is designed specifically around your wiring, not someone else's. This is my aligned success method. It's not hacks. It's not try harder. It's not mindset glitter. It's a real solution. It's rooted in science, strategy, and your unique design. So you can lead your life as the woman you actually are, not the woman others expect you to be. Now is the time. Take the step. Book your clarity call at martinewilliams.com/clarity. All right, back to the episode.
Yeah, so I did feel burnout, which I will tell you is a crappy feeling when you love what you do.
Yes.
So anyone that's listening who is obsessed with their job and their career and they love it and they're still feeling burnout, that is very normal.
Yeah.
It was in 2024 when I got burned out because my calendar basically imploded. It was just one-on-ones nonstop. And I love powerful one-on-ones and I love getting to know individuals at that deeper level. I also really love the group stuff. Yeah. My passion, my zone of genius is more the facilitating executive offsites, facilitating team conversations, because we focus a lot on communication.
Yeah.
Communication, mastering conflict, accountability, hard conversations, being a strengths coach and doing strengths for over a decade. How are we playing to our strengths? Are we appreciating each other's strengths? That's where I really light up and love. But I got to a place where I was just looking at my calendar and it looked like a rainbow threw up all over it because I color code everybody. So I know, so I can switch gears, right? I'm like, oh, this is this client, so I can get in that zone. And there were no breaks. It was just non-stop. And and at that point, that's when I built a small team. I was like, I need help. So kind of that back to asking for help. I need help. So I did 2 things. I found awesome teammates that would come on and that were coaches and could take they took hours off my plate, my platter, hours off of it. And then the next thing I did, and I realized that sometimes this is tough for someone who works within a company, but be that champion and talk about it if your company doesn't do this already, because it's such a huge game changer. I went from 60-minute sessions to 50-minute sessions. That little switch right there, when I looked at my calendar, I saw white space peppered throughout the week. Yeah. It wasn't just nonstop back-to-back rainbow. And that immediately just visually calmed me down. Then I just trained my clients. I was like, here's the deal. I want to make sure I am my best self for you
Yeah.
and the next person. So I need 10 minutes to process the conversation we just had, have a bio break, refill my water, shake it off, and be present for the next person.
Yep.
So that was a tactical thing that I did that really helped me with the burnout, because for me, it was the pace.
Yeah.
It wasn't the work, it was the pace. And I think that's a lot of where the burnout comes from for a lot of us, is just you feel like you're nonstop. So we really have to advocate for ourselves, and we have to create those breaks in the pace.
Yeah.
Any of us that work from home, please get up and walk away from your computer and go, at a minimum, go open your front door and walk out and just stretch and take 3 deep breaths of fresh air. Best case scenario, you go for a quick walk around the block.
Yeah.
I do that every day. Usually at lunch, I'll eat lunch because I covet my lunch hour.
Yeah.
So I'll eat lunch and then I'll go for a walk. And especially when it's a beautiful day, it makes it even better. But just those kind of things where you're just feeding your soul, you're allowing yourself to breathe. Now, when you're taking a break, do not grab your phone and immediately get on your phone.
Right. And check your email.
Check your email, check Instagram, check Facebook. Like, let the brain rest. We humans, our cognitive thinking and cognitive function starts to slow down after 50 minutes, 50.
Yeah.
So if we're not rebooting the computer, we're not working smarter, we're working harder.
Yeah.
So those were just at a basic foundational level, things that I did was, again, I asked for help to pass some of the stuff off to other people, and then brought in breaks to my day. With kids, because, like my daughter, her schedule is nonstop. So I've had to start teaching her. And she's like, what time is rehearsal? And I'm like, baby girl, I need you to tell me.
Yeah. Right.
It's your rehearsal.
Yeah.
You're in theater, not me. I already did 7th grade. So I would like for you to own this, and you tell me when you need to be picked up, because that's one less thing that I am going to manage. So she's, she's 13 now, so she's starting to get it, and she's starting to now own her schedule. And so it's things like that. And again, you're being unapologetic about it. We're not being, mean to our kids or to our coworkers or to our clients.
Yeah.
We're basically saying, for me to be the best I can be for you, personally or professionally, here's what I need from you, so you can get this from me.
Yeah.
Simple formula.
Yeah. And I think it gives permission for them to do the exact same thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Like if all they're seeing is, whether it be your kids or your coworkers or someone, you're leading, if all they're seeing is you're running from appointment to appointment to appointment, then they're thinking that's what they need to do. Right.
And that you don't have time for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so it just kind of builds on. We're trying to teach both of our kids, and it's crazy. They're 19 and 21, but it's like, y'all have got to plan for an accident or traffic. Like, they'll look at their GPS like, oh, it's only going to take me 15 minutes. I'm like, that's in a perfect world, which does
That's
not
right. Yes.
exist.
Right. Yes.
And I was taught, if you're on time, you're late. Like 15 minutes ahead of time is when you're supposed to be there.
I have the same school of thought.
I'm trying to instill that in them, and they're like, no, I'm going to sleep as long as I can and get up and go, and
and to that, I've started teaching my daughter. I'm like, if you're not paying attention and you're going to be late, I kind of just need to let you have that consequence.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I don't want to. It hurts my heart and soul. But I don't know how else you're going to learn. Again, if it's important, you're going to pay attention to it. So there's certain things, when I hear her, she sets an alarm, I'm like, okay, this is important. She set an alarm. She actually got up on her own. There wasn't me going in there and waking her up for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And so, it's also just letting them learn sometimes the hard way of how these things work. Relate to something that matters. That's going to be painful. And I love you. And it's going to be really hard to watch, but you're the one that's going to feel that consequence.
Yeah. He's definitely learned, one with running into the back of someone because he didn't give himself enough time and he was going really fast. He's totally fine. And then just today he was like, I got a speeding ticket last night. And I was like, oh, did you? Okay. So how fast were you going? I'm like, well, again, there's consequences.
Did you know?
Yeah. Did you know?
Yeah.
And this girl here, and she was like, I literally just told him a couple days ago, he better slow down. He's going to get a ticket. I'm like, well, life.
Sometimes we can't be told. We just have to do it and find out. I
And
may
then
or may not have been that kid.
well, then he was like,
Don't tell me what to do. I know what I'm doing.
yeah,
We
right, right.
kids know everything,
Oh yeah, we don't
they're
know
all
anything.
knowing.
We don't know anything. We don't know anything. It's so funny.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I treated my parents the same way.
yeah.
So
That's funny.
tell me what you're most excited about right now in your business or your life, or what's just the most exciting to you.
Yeah, I am the most excited about growth this year, personally and professionally. So I am wanting to continue to build the team.
Okay.
So if anyone out there is listening and they are an executive coach, I'd love to meet you. I would like to bring on some pretty awesome rock star executive coach level. We have a great team. Some of the people on the team are more the manager director level. And
Mhm.
I'd like to bring on some folks that coach VPs, SVPs. They've been in corporate themselves. They get it.
Right.
So pretty focused on that and just scaling the business in that way. Also doing team approach more than we have in the past, where it's again helping me get into my zone of true genius, which is the group and the team stuff. My zone of excellence is the one-on-one stuff, but again, the genius part is the group stuff, and then bringing the rest of the team in to do the one-on-one. So you get the career frame team
Right.
involved with your team. So I'm excited about that. And then I'm always looking for my own personal growth.
Mhm.
So I am doing a retreat in May that is going to be, I think, unique and different as far as learning about meditation.
Okay.
I suck at meditation because I'm
Yep.
fast paced and extroverted and always
Yep.
doing the things. And so to stay still and go introspective is something that I'd like to learn. And I'm kind of a full immersion, kick my butt a little bit, so I get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be doing that in May, and I'm super excited and intrigued about that. And then just my family, the Fab Four is in an amazing season right now. My marriage of 19 years is incredible. My husband Andres, he's an entrepreneur as well, and we're having a lot of fun being married,
Yeah.
which is awesome after 19 years.
Yeah.
And my kids are like besties all of a sudden. And that's super cool to see. My son's doing great, and he's going into high school in the fall. So I'm going to be skipping to the high school. I can't wait to get there and get him involved in things. And so, yeah, I'm just really excited about where we are as a family unit. I mean, it's pretty awesome to look at our family and just go, we really, there is no dysfunction here.
Yeah. Yeah. We
Like what a
actually like
ble
each other. We actually like each other.
What
Yeah.
a blessing to say we have a ton of fun. Like we went on a fun little RV trip for spring break and we just had the best time together.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so that's what I'm excited about right now.
That's so amazing.
What are you excited about?
I'm excited about just new things that I'm gonna be doing in my business. I too do some team stuff. I just did my first kind of team development. Well, I
Yeah.
should say my first in this business. I led a large organization for 16 years. So I've done a lot of team stuff, but I've been doing primarily one-on-one over the last
Mm-hmm.
5 years. And so I'm excited to create like real rooms for women to come into and not just virtual rooms, because I think there's a lot of virtual
Yeah.
fatigue going on in
Oh yeah,
entrepreneurship and with
for
women.
sure.
So I just held my first retreat for my private one-on-one clients, and it was interesting hearing you talk about like being still, because we had yoga on the beach, and I've never been a huge yoga fan because I can't sit still like you. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
my brain is
same.
always going. And one of the things that she said while we were all on the beach, she was an amazing yoga instructor, and she was like, just notice how you're being on the mat right now.
Mm,
Are you fiddling, or are you like twitching, or can you not be still? Because how you're on the mat is probably how you're showing up in your life too. And I was
totally. Yeah.
like, okay.
Where was your retreat?
So I live on the coast of South
Yeah.
Carolina. So we had it here in my hometown,
Amazing.
and yeah,
Awesome.
treated them to, a oceanfront, like penthouse area. And we just had the best time. And so
Sounds amazing.
I just want to provide more opportunities for women to do that, because that was the common theme from all of the ladies was, yeah, being still. Like I didn't realize how in
Yeah.
my head I am
Oh
all
yeah.
the time. And then getting
All
out
the
of
time.
my head and into my body just is a
Yeah.
totally different game, which we need to know how to do because we're human beings, not human doing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's important. I've heard one of the longest journeys you'll take is from your mind to your heart.
Yeah.
And getting into the heart, like I've struggled with that,
Yeah, me
and just
too.
again, the self-talk and the imposter syndrome and all the crappy self-talk that we women do.
Yeah.
And if we can just stop, take some deep breaths and truly travel down into the heart, and it's like, but what do I feel?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Not what I think. Like
Right.
what do I feel about this? And
Yeah.
how do I feel right now? And pay attention to our bodies, because our bodies are yelling at us about
Oh,
how
yeah.
we feel. Where we carry the shoulders, the lower
Yeah.
back, the hips, all the things.
Yeah.
I think that's fantastic that you did
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That's so
I can't
great.
wait to do more. Yeah. I can't wait.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, if you
Awesome.
could leave the listeners with just one final thought, what would you like them to know or be encouraged by?
I I would love to just encourage people to really find out what all in means for them. I'm going to end with that. Just
Okay.
we all, I think, want to be the best we can be. We want to do all the things,
Mm,
but we have to define what that is.
yeah.
Do not compare yourself to others. Please don't compare yourself to others on social media, because a lot of it's not even true.
Right.
It's really just allowing yourself to feel certain things, to be unapologetic, to choose you, to do what lights you up, to dream, and communicate about it. Let people in your life know, and there's no apologizing for it, right? So I just would like to encourage people and women to, again, go all in, whatever that looks like to you and what makes you happy, and light your life up.
I love that you said choose you. That was my very first course that I created. That was the name of it, was choose you. So
Yeah, I love it.
that's awesome. Well, thank you so much. It
Yeah.
was such a great conversation. I know they're gonna
Thanks for having me. This is
love
great.
this. And yeah, thank you again for coming on.
Pleasure. Thank you.
All right, friends. Well, I'll catch you on our next episode. Well, that's a wrap, friends. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. I really hope it met you right where you are and gave you some encouragement for your day. Could you do me the biggest favor and leave me a rating and review? Seriously, it's the best way for you to support the show. And while you're there, be sure to follow the show so you never miss an episode. Thanks again. And until next time, I am believing in you always.